I'm Jean Shelby, and today I am going to start kind of a series called Writing Findings. I was on my way to pick up my kids today, and I thought, I do want to say kind of my take on my writing. So this just applies to me, where I'm at in my writing career, which I have one book published. I'm writing another. I'm editing another one. Have written several others. And I'm just trying to figure it out. So here I am in my car. I have about 3 minutes until my kids are out of school. And it is weird, like people are in their cars around me, but I know I've heard people say that it's weird to film a video out in public, but they don't know if I'm on FaceTime or whatever. So where I'm at right now is I've written my second book. I was really hoping to have it published this month in April 2022. And then I thought, I'm going to change that to just the spring. So April, May, some of June, give myself a little bit of slack. That took so much pressure off, just opening that up, because I want to make it good. Every time I edit it, though, I add 5,000 or 10,000 words. So now it's almost up to 100,000 words. And for women's fiction, that's a little bit long. But I'm like, oh, well, that's just how it goes. So I had one editor do it, or go through it. And I went through her comments. They were great. I found her on Fiverr, trying to make it a little bit less expensive for me. But then after going through all of her comments, I still don't feel like it's ready yet. And I want to do another edit and have another editor. So I happened to see an ad for Readsy, and I was like, I'm going to check that out and see what the whole thing is. So I went out there, set up an account. It lets you do 5 quotes
and get 5 quotes back from people. And
so I think just a couple hours after I sent a quote request out, I got one back, and it sounded amazing. Like my first one back, she could work within my budget. She gave me this long message about what she was going to do. I see my daughter coming. And she was going to read the book. Like she goes, her process is reading it 4 times or so, making comments, having a 4 to 5 page write-up. And that just sounded amazing. I got that with my first book, and it just helped me bring it up to the next level by far. So what I'm going to do, is to just go through a few things that I wrote out in my last blog, on my website, about what I just brainstormed and thought, how can I make this the best that I can before it goes to the editor? So the first one was just knowing the beat points and going through my book again and just kind of marking those out. And did I hit those points that every book should hit? If you read Save the Cat Writes a Novel, it goes through those beat points and the inciting incident and, the first pinch point, and going through the whole book that way. And then the second point I wrote down of just like self-editing is to make sure that the characters have an arc. And this I'm struggling with a little bit. I'm hoping that they are good enough. I've done the best that I can, and hopefully that's going to be good and that can be helped on. I'm getting distracted by all the cars, so I'm going to do the rest of my points from home.
So the next thing I'm going to do is make sure that
each character has a different voice.
Side. So that's partly the fun part when I'm writing each of their chapters. So number 4, one thing that I am learning and working on, and I think that everybody does this with each book, because when it's 50, 60, 100,000 words long, it's not just an easy little thing. You have to write it and go through it. Are my scenery descriptions fleshed out? Like, can I see it in my head? And am I using all of my senses when I'm doing that. What does she see? What does the air smell like or feel like? And is she touching something, or was she tasting something? She eating something? So that's one thing I'm noticing as I'm going through. I say, she walked through this part of the house, and then it's like, well, wait a minute, what does it look like? And can I write more about that? Number 5, and this one I've heard from other people, I'm not very good at deleting the forbidden words like actually or quickly. There's a huge list of those out there. This isn't just me saying this. So go look and see what isn't supposed to be in there. I don't see the harm of putting it in a few times in a book personally. But number 6 is something I haven't done yet, and what I've learned from my first book is to read it out loud. And not only does this help find errors in the book, but when you read it, you can see and hear the flow of the sentences. And yes, this will take some time, but it's better to spend the time up front, of course, than to get the book published and printed and people reading it and you're putting the instead of then. And that to me, when I'm reading a book, that bothers me. It just slows you down, takes you away from the story when you see that. And unfortunately, as I've talked about with my first book, there's a lot of that in there. So I'm fixing that still, even after having 3 editors proofread it. It's, I didn't do that. I didn't go and read it out loud. So that's on me, but I learned my lesson with that. I'm gonna go out here, enjoy some outside time, because it is nice today, even though it was cold over the weekend. So the last and 7th point is to give myself some time. And my original plan was to publish in April, but now, it's the 5th, and I'm going to be sending it to another editor on Monday. She's going to have it for 3 weeks. And I debated. It doesn't feel right. It feels like it should go to another editor. So that was one thing I told myself in my debate. Should I do this or not? But what is the harm really at this point in my writing, where I only have one book out there? Nobody's knocking on my door asking, where's your next book? What's the harm in publishing in May or even June instead of April? Versus what are the benefits that could provide? It can be cleaner, it can be more crisp and flushed out, or maybe condensed a little bit, because I am wordy for sure. But that I have come to terms with. The editor is going to have it 3 weeks, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose all that time. Well, no, I'm going to write my next book. So I've already outlined it and I'm ready to go. It's NaNoWriMo April. So I'm excited about that. And I was like, oh, well, of course I can just write the next one. So hopefully with where you are in your journey, you can give yourself that same kind of grace, that it is a learning process, and every author out there is learning with every book. And don't be too hard on yourself. It can be daunting just to write an outline even, let alone, I always picture myself with this huge manuscript that I'm trying to tackle and make better. And it's a lot to go through and learn and make it flow through the whole thing, but it can be done. And I hired an editor from Reedsy, and I will let you know how that goes. Totally excited. I liked their process a lot. She was working with me on the budget, and I will do a review once I get it back and let you know. So hopefully this helps you along your journey. I did write a blog about this, so if you're interested, you can go to my website at www.jeanshelbybooks.com.